So today what we want to do, and it is 10, nope, it's 11, 11, 14, 18, all right? So what I want to do today is solve. But whenever I have an opportunity to divide by 0, before I even start, I've got to look at the problem and say, okay, what x cannot be? Because if I get that answer, I got to throw it out. So looking at number 1, before I even start, x cannot equal negative 8. You agree with that? Mm-hmm. X cannot equal negative 8. And x cannot equal 7 halves. 7 halves. Okay? So as I solve this problem, if I get either one of these two answers, I'm going to throw that answer out. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, number 1, we've done these problems before. If you have a fraction equal to a fraction, you cross multiply. Okay, cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply number 1. And I'm going to take my 2x minus 7. I'm going to multiply it up times 2. And we'll take my x plus 8 and I'll multiply it up times your 5. So we're going to cross multiply. This works when you have a fraction equal to a fraction. Okay, so then let's see what I get. I'm going to get a 2 times a 2x minus 7 equals a 5 times x plus 8. Okay? This is the exact same problem Ben did in the warm-up. So it's pretty easy from here, isn't it? Okay, so we cross multiply. Okay, so now if I distribute, I get a 4x minus 28. If I 14, thank you. I'm glad I'm recording my mistakes. Equals a 5x plus 40. How's that? Okay, solve for x, right? Let's see. I'm going to go probably minus 40. Minus 40, right, which is going to give me a, whoops, minus 40 there, gives me a 4x minus a 54 equals a 5x, right? Luckily we did this one before with Ben. Minus 4x, I get really x equals negative 54, okay? So, the only two answers it couldn't be were negative 8 and 7 halves. So negative 54 is a good answer. Does that make sense? Done. As long as I didn't get either one of these two, that is the correct answer. Okay. Okay, let's move down to number 5. Okay, let's look at number 5. So number 5 is a little bit different because what I really want to do is I want to cross multiply. I want to go cross multiply, but I can't cross multiply until I get a fraction equal to a fraction. So what I have to do is I'm going to first try and combine these two. I'm going to try and combine them. Try and go 4/7 minus 1 over x. So to do that, they need a common denominator. Because my goal is to get a fraction equal to a fraction, right? So what I'm going to do is get a common denominator. I'll multiply this one by x over x. And I'll multiply the 1 over x by 7 over 7 so that my denominator is 7x. So between these two, my 4/7, my 1 over x, my common denominator is 7x, okay? So now I can subtract them, okay? So my common denominator is 7x. My numerator is going to be a 4x minus 7. And that equals 6. So I want to cross multiply, so if I make this 6 over 1, I can cross multiply, right? I can cross multiply. So if I cross multiply, I'll get the 1 times the 4x minus 7, which is 4x minus 7. So I'm cross multiplying, right? And I'll take the 7x times 6, and I get a 42, okay?
42x.
42x, thank you. Okay. Solving minus 4x minus 4x, I get a negative 7 equals 38x. X equals negative 7/38. Okay, now, is that an okay answer? Well, is that okay answer? Well, let me go back to the original. What is one thing x shouldn't be? Right here. What if x were what? Right here. What if x were 0 here? We'd be in trouble. So x cannot equal 0. It's not, right? So this answer is okay. Okay, one more problem, which is not all that hard, but there's a trick I want to show you on the last problem. But you got to pay attention for me to do the last problem and do its trick. Okay, so let's shift over to problem number 9. Okay,
We cannot.
let's look at number 9. Okay, and I'm probably gonna work all the way through these other two, but that's okay. I can do that. Okay. So before I do problem number 9, let me factor. I'm going to factor this as an x times an x minus 5. Okay, let's just factor the denominator. It might make it easier for common denominator. Okay, plus it's going to be easier to tell me what x cannot be. So I'm going to do this problem. I'm going to go through, but when I get an answer, x it better not be what? X better not be what? 5, and x better not be what? 0, right?
Yeah.
If x is 0, we're in trouble. And if x is 5, we're in trouble. Everybody agree with that? So, the way we're going to have to do this, though, is somehow we're going to have to get a common denominator between the first two fractions. We're going to get the common denominator between the 2 over the x minus 5 and the 3 over x. Okay, so what I'm going to do to get a common denominator, I'll multiply this one by x over x. And I'll multiply this one by an x minus 5 over an x minus 5. Okay, so let's see what I get. Okay, multiply the first one by x over x so I can get my common denominator. And I'll multiply this one by an x minus 5, x minus 5. So my common denominator between my two fractions is my x times my x minus 5, right? The denominator is going to be a 2x plus a 3x minus 15, okay? Okay, that still equals the 10 over the x squared. Well, it was factored. X times x minus 5, right? All right, what did I do? I got a common denominator, so I could add these two. X, multiply this one by x, multiply this by x minus 5, so I have a common denominator. Then I was able to combine them, 2x, 3x minus 15, okay? Which really makes a 5x minus 15, doesn't it, okay? Now, here's what we're going to do. If I cross multiply, okay, and I'm going to try and show this on the board, okay? If I cross multiply, and I'm going to show this on the board, don't write this down, watch, just watch. If I cross multiply, okay, I'm going to wind up with some x cubes. I don't want that. Or I've got a trick. I want you to watch this trick. Let me slide it down, okay? I have a trick. It's a really nice trick. This trick only works if the denominators are the same and equal signs. This trick only works. If I multiply both sides by, you ready? X times x minus 5 over 1. X times x minus 5 over 1. Okay? It's a great trick because what's going to happen?
Oh, they're going to all cancel.
And which is really nice because then if it cancels, then this is all you have left to solve. Only works though. This trick only works if you got a fraction equal to a fraction, only if all the denominators are the same in an equal sign. This only works if the denominators are all the same with an equal sign, okay? So only time, and you can see why. If I multiply by the same thing on both sides, it cancels out your denominator, okay? And that is what I'm going to do, okay? So let me erase this. We know we're going to multiply that by both sides, so what I can do is I can just scribble out my denominators. Because if I multiply both sides by that, it's gone. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to go ahead and keep solving. I'm going to run out of room, so I'll just keep working down below. So I'm going to have a 5x minus 15 equals 10, because the denominators are gone, aren't they? Plus 15 plus 15, I've got a 5x equals 25. Divide by 5, divide by 5, x equals 5, right? No! No!
Possible.
X cannot equal 5. So I did all this work, and what's my answer? X cannot equal 5. I did all this work, what's my answer? We don't have an answer.
So what do?
No solution. Sometimes you get one answer, sometimes you have to throw out an answer, sometimes you get to keep all your answers, but you always need to check your answers because you can't divide by 0. Okay, that's what I have for you today.